meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, I was talking with Brian during the break. He said he got some great shots of that weather as we watch this system make its way through. Then it shakes the cactus cam a little bit, and then you see how much we cool down as a result of some of that rain-cooled air all the way down into those mid-50s. Now, we're going to continue to cool down from there before we warm up for a beautiful election day. Take a good look at these temperatures. We saw the winds come out of the north somewhere around 9 this morning. That's where we dropped all the way down to 64. Then we warmed up into those mid-70s, right down there at 67, and the rain kicked off, and we leveled out at 58 degrees. Now, we're going to drop about 10 more degrees into those 40s before we warm up into those 70s. 58 in San Angelo. Everybody else joining us in accommodation, not really, of those lower 60s across the area, but you can definitely see where the cold air is trying to slide in from the northwest near New Mexico. Up in the Rocky Mountains, they're going to see about 20 degrees overnight tonight, while down here in the Concho Valley, somewhere in those 50s all the way up into those 60s. So we're looking like 7 degrees across the area, despite seeing some of that rain shower activity. But when you look at the moisture content in the atmosphere going through the roof, at least in the eastern part of the Concho Valley, dew points are in those 20s and those 30s. But as you make your way off towards the east, they start to push up into that 50-degree mark, while the humidity indices are somewhere in those 30s all the way up into those 70s here in San Angelo. Now, we're tracking the upper level pattern because we're talking about a pretty strong low pressure system making its way across the entire nation, really up to the north before we see another cutoff low form around the four corners, then hover around Texas. Behind us, we're going to see another hurricane try to push its way up and then push off towards the east. Right behind it, by next weekend, another low pressure system. Right now, looking like some cooler weather. When we talk about the water vapor imagery, really watching this system explode right there across East Texas, while having our eye on that dry air somewhere around Cuba. Now, behind me off the west coast, really just tracking this cold air. Look how fast it's making its way across Utah and Nevada right now. It will be here by tomorrow, if not Wednesday. When we track the moisture tracker, we're really just watching this blue area run into the hurricane, what will be left of Rafael, before we watch it slide into the south, come up from the coast, and then it touches back into the Concho Valley by Thursday. Now, it's looking like some prolonged rain shower activity, and we look at the severe weather outlook. Look how much it's gone up in severity. It's really narrowed up, at least along the Mississippi River Valley. And when we take you into the surface, still watching this tornado warning and tons of flash flooding all the way up into Missouri, and that includes parts of East Texas right now. We have our eye on this cold air sliding in from the north, but when we take you down the tropics, we're also tracking the resurgence of this moisture up from the southeast. Right now, it's Tropical Storm Rafael, slated to become a hurricane, if not by tomorrow, moving northwest at about 12 miles per hour, so it's picking up speed, but the winds around it are about 45 miles per hour, so compared to some of the hurricanes we have seen this year, it's a little weaker. Thank goodness. They definitely need a break. Now, when we look at the sea surface temperatures, keeping our eye on this circulation as nighttime settles in, we are watching them drop down into the 70s and into the 40s, but as we make our way into the day, they've been touching up into the 90s. Now, as we take a good look at this cloud cover making its way in towards the western part of the Concho Valley, we're still going to track this cloud cover and this strong low pressure system making its way off with this cold front. Now, I'm going to let this time lapse run out because election day is looking pretty beautiful, but off towards the east, you can sort of see that cloud cover making its way back in. Keeping our eye on the panhandle as we make our way into Thursday. Look at all that moisture push up, and then that cold front's going to make its way down the mountains, and by this time tomorrow, I run out of data. So tonight, we're dropping back down into those 40s. Only 10 more degrees to go. We're on the lookout for some light rain. Then tomorrow, a beautiful election day, so make sure you get out there and exercise your right to vote, because we're only going to see beautiful temperatures for only a couple more days. As we get towards Thursday, here comes our cutoff low. Then the thunderstorms start as we make our way into Friday night football, looking like we might still see some heavy rain shower activity. By Saturday, things start to clear up for now. You know how those data things always update. So, of course, we're looking at that Veterans Day parade as we look at those 70s. Then we gradually warm up into those upper 70s, while overnight we go back and forth between those 50s and those 40s. Stay tuned. One more for the break. You're watching KSAN.